Business Spotlight, brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.
I'm Sonya Farrell. This is Business Spotlight in partnership with Cross Rhythms City Radio and Baba Baboon. Joining me in the studio this week, we've got Lee Barber, who is a freelance music events organiser and knows everything about the local music scene. And we've also got Scott Evans, who is from the Artisan Tap, which is based in Hartshill. Lee, Scott, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Very good.
Thank you so much for coming in on Business Spotlight. Before we go anywhere, because I know Lee and Scott as well, you're both very heavily involved in the music scene and you have been for a long time. So Lee, I just want you just to explain a little bit, if you can, about your background and where you're at now.
Yeah. So up until recently, I was the venue manager of the Underground in Hanley. I was there for nearly a decade. Around the time of starting, or just before I started there, we started the Honey Box, which was with PH Productions, and that was off the back of us meeting from when I first did the Music Awards 10 years ago now. And one of the main reasons I'm here today is to talk about the return of the Music Awards. So I'm very glad to be saying that's coming back. Yeah,
so you've been, like you've just mentioned there, you were a manager, down there at the Underground, which is a popular venue.
Yeah.
For local artists and artists maybe coming in as well. I mean, just to touch on that, what was that experience like in running such a venue like that in Hanley?
I'd say I definitely felt the strain of pressure and responsibility of having, it's obviously a DIY underground venue, but it still has that element of prestige within the scene. So you have that sort of responsibility to try and do the venue and do the scene proud as part of that, and obviously trying to navigate through COVID as well. No one was prepared for that. So the whole experience for me, I'd never ran a venue before. I'd only before that put on a handful of gigs. So the whole experience of being at the Underground was very much a learn as you go thing for me. And I enjoyed the whole thing, enjoyed the whole process of it. I think it was just time for me to move on and let someone else come through. For me, it's very much a young man's game. I don't know how Scott is smashing it the way he is. He's relentless in his work ethic. It's incredible. But for me, I think it was just time for a new challenge, a new environment.
Yeah. And Scott, then coming on to you, owner now of the Artisan, should I say, the Artisan Tap in Hartshill. How have you found that as well? Because I'm aware of the Artisan Tap, and I know you do have a lot of sort of music and entertainment, live music events going on there. So how do you find it?
Well, I mean, I love it. I really enjoy it. And as Lee says, it's tough work. It's not easy. We are able to do some of the things I think some of the big venues can't do because we can keep a cost base down. So I do my own sound engineering, for example, as well as a lot of the promotion. So where a lot of venues have to have separate people to do that, I can fix that in under one roof as it is. My wife runs the bar, so from that point of view, it works well. But yeah, we love it, and I can't think of anything better to be doing, to be honest.
And just coming back to you as well, Scott, because your background as well, and I believe not only have you performed as well in bands and everything, but you also do work with a lot of local artists.
Yeah, I think that's how I started in the music scene for Stoke. Well, if I go back to sort of late 80s, early 90s, I was in lots of bands and always at the Wheatsheaf in Stoke. And then I had a career.
You had a real job.
So, someone told me that to get a real job. And then I got back out of that and started focusing on more music writing for people and production work. So and I've also managed quite a few local artists. and worked with Lee at that stage. I think that's where we started working together, where I would give an artist to Lee and say, what can we do with this person?
So running, a venue now, the Artisan Tap, running that now, and like you say, you're still working and collaborate with Lee and everybody on the local music scene. But how important do you see it is to sort of champion, whether it's local artists, but bringing music and that entertainment into a venue like yours? How important is that for business?
I think it's really important. I think for a lot of reasons. So, one, we are a successful music venue, which are few and far between at the moment. So that's an important element to it. And going back to the cost base, but certainly from a promoter's point of view and the booking agents, we're like a really popular venue at the moment, and we're working hard to bring Stoke back as one of those places that you add to tour dates. But because we're successful in that, we're also successful in supporting local breweries.
Yeah.
And
so it has a knock-on effect.
Yeah, it does have a knock-on effect. It all does. It sort of intricate weaves its way into anything that we do. Helps, and we put on music 5 nights a week, much against probably what everyone would have advised. It's just like, you must be crazy to do that. And as I say, a lot of venues are probably reducing the amount of gigs that they're doing and introduce a lot of club nights. We introduce more gigs, and the reason for that is I just wanted to emulate what the Wheat Sheaf did through the 80s and 90s, which was doing music 7 nights a week, and it was an incredible place. And although the industry has changed massively, I still think there's an element of that which can work, and it has worked. It's begun to work. It's not 100% successful all the time, but we've never really had to cancel any gigs. And it helps. It's like a perfect storm, the Artisan Tap is, because it's a 110 capacity venue, but it looks comfortable if there's 20 people in there.
And then, Lee, as well, bringing you into this, again, from your experience, being general manager and everything down at the Underground, but everything that you do now as well and promoting local artists, how do you see, by the work that you do, can help a venue like Scott's and to help that sort of, almost like that local economy in a way? What is the best thing to do? Is it collaborative work or is it something else?
Yeah, I mean, we... like through the Honey Box, we to give a brief overview of that, we managed to get UK SPF funding through Newcastle Borough Council. So we were able to bring in a support and development program which we called Hive, and through that we set up the honeycomb events, which we run them at Artisan Tap, and we've continued them. We've gone into season 2 of them because they've been very popular, and it's that kind of collaboration that keeping the communication between myself and Scott. We can work on those kind of things together, where it's like Scott was saying about Artisan Tap. 20 people in there can be a really nice atmosphere, and it's perfect for events such as the honeycomb that we do there, because that's essentially, we use your side room or back room, and it's a really nice aesthetic in that room,
which helps the artists.
And we have essentially have Kez Liddell host the event. She has a conversation with a particular local artist, and throughout the night that artist will also perform some original songs. And it's very much that sort of living room vibe, because people are just sat there listening to this conversation. We encourage them to engage in that conversation as well. And it's all about that networking and the communication and collaboration between. We try to encourage other artists from the local area to come to these honeycomb events, and that kind of goes in that full circle then of we're communicating with the venues, and the artists are communicating with each other, and that's where you potentially get collaborations or they can pick up new fans and things like that, and it becomes a vital part of the scene.
Yeah, and you mentioned the honeycomb. I know there's a few things with that and the development programme and Honeybox Hive as well. From what you've said there, correct me if I'm wrong, Lee, but from what you've said about those as well, and I'm aware actually that they have received UK SPF funding as well to help with that progression. But are they all about then the development of local artists? So then, like you say, going into venues as well, the development process comes through from your side and everything, that the work you're doing, but then you're going into a venue, so everybody's kind of, like you say, working with and helping each other for that progression. Is that right? Am I right in saying that?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, with the Honeybox itself, that's we started that 10 years ago. We're currently in season 9, and with that's a live stream show, like Jules Holland kind of vibe, but it's specifically just for artists from Staffordshire and Cheshire, grassroots level artists, and we've recently taken that to the Sugar Mill. Obviously we do the honeycomb events at Artisan Tap. We've done a honeybox show at the Foxhill Arts Centre in Leek as well, so we are taking that show around the county now as well, and sort of spreading that love, as it were, and it's raising the profile for everybody involved, and that can't be a bad thing. And it's the UK SPF funding that's enabled that. We've been able to progress the Honeybox into the whole Hive project, where we've been putting on some workshops as well, like industry-based workshop where people have done like little talks or panels. We've had Arts Council England come in and give a talk, giving information on how grassroots level musicians can get funding, what funding's available to them. And it's that kind of stuff it's a very difficult world to understand. I struggle with it even now. But Arts Council came in, give a talk, and literally saying, this is the funding you can get. We're right here, we'll help you through it as well. So, it's nice to know that we've been able to do that through the UK SPF funding. We've been able to put those kind of events together and bring the local musicians and say, listen, the support is out there. We're trying to help you find it. We're not the experts, but we're trying to find the experts that can help you.
And then, Scott, coming back to you, so all these artists, just for example, have gone through maybe a programme or, developing and the learning and everything, and they come into a venue. They come into a venue for a gig. Now, what challenges as a venue do you actually face, or what challenges do you see in the industry for a venue in putting on gigs? Because I'm sure not everything is as plain sailing as what everybody sees when they come to watch. So is there any sort of, challenges that do crop up now and again?
Yeah, I think if challenges for artists are sometimes getting through to venues and trying to explain who they are and why you should book them. And that really is a tricky one for artists, especially because venues now are very much like that. This show has got to earn its money, and if you're an artist from Stoke and you're trying to get a gig in Brighton, that is hard work. What
about tickets?
So tickets. The Music Venue Trust, which most venues are part of, have highlighted a few issues in the industry recently. And one thing that often comes up is advanced ticket sales, which never used to be an issue. And I think it's almost like at COVID that switched on to be a thing where advanced tickets were not started to not happen. And it has massive consequences because there tends to be 3 parties involved in booking a gig. You've got the artists themselves, you've got a booking agent or promoter, and then you've got the venue. And any one of those 3, or all 3 could be panicking about ticket sales, and it could result in a gig being cancelled. Right. And it's easier for me to say, from the Artisan Tap point of view, we'll hold a nerve, and I'm sure it'll happen on the day. I've had gigs where we sold 4 tickets in advance, and then we've done like 45 people on the door. On that then,
and you're thinking, oh gosh, we've only sold that many, and then how difficult is that to actually then plan ahead to put on such an event?
It's really difficult, because you can never. It's so hard to second guess when the ticket sales are so low, which is why I think a lot of venues or promoters will pull the gig. Because it could be about how many bar staff do you have on. If you're a venue that needs security, do you need to have security in? And if you've got an agreed fee with an artist, obviously just 4 tickets probably ain't going to cover it. So for some venues, that it's got to be almost impossible.
I certainly felt that. Coming out of COVID, it certainly felt like it got more difficult, if anything, once we started reopening. It was like, right, okay, there was a little splurge where people could finally go out again, so people were buying the tickets. Once that died down, all of a sudden it was like, right, okay, where are these ticket sales gone? And you even getting to the afternoon, you start doing your sound checks and you're like, I'm nowhere near break even. What am I going to do? And then suddenly them stress levels are like really high. And then, like say, you get a big turnout on the door, and it's that constant up and down flow of the stress levels. You're like, wow, what is this going to do to me in the future?
And that is a weekly base. A weekly thing. So the stress for me will be, we have artists like the Blue Tones, John Bramwell from Iron Clute, that they come with big fees. And if the tickets aren't looking good from at a certain point in time, that can be extremely stressful, because that could be like a month's worth of profit just wiped out on one gig. So it's hard work. So it's very hard to say to somebody, right, you must buy a ticket, and communicating that. But there's a reason why we keep banging on about getting tickets. It's just an indication, and we do sell out quite a lot of times as well. So, the amount of times we'll sell out a gig and suddenly everyone's after the tickets.
And then you've got another problem.
And then we have a nicer problem, if you like. But it's certainly a frustration for the industry. And it was weird just how it switched on, like over COVID. It became an issue for the industry. And
then just something else would like to ask you both really as well. Now, Stoke-on-Trent, we're not massive. We're not that big of a place. We're big enough. But when the likes of these events go on, and whether it's at a venue or it's a town festival, etc., there's all sorts of things happening. How would you say, in your experience, it's best to help each other? What would be a way in which perhaps the creative industry, the local music scene, could actually help each other, whether it's an artist or it's a venue? What is it? Do you all have like a little communicative sort of group, or do you actually have that communication process, or what is it that could help the local area better with the music industry?
I think communication is the key. I could probably be better at it, but I did recently, or we actually set up recently, Coalition Collective, which is essentially just the venue managers or in-house promoters. It was just a WhatsApp chat where we could have that constant stream of communication, where an issue we've always found is any particular band would book a gig with me at the Underground, and that would be the front man that's booked that show, and then they've not spoken to each other as a band, and then the guitarist has booked a show for the same weekend with Scott at Artisan Tap, and then suddenly they've got 2 gigs down the road from each other, and they think that's great because we've got 2 gigs, but they're actually splitting their ticket sales across 2 nights. So instead of having one big show at the Underground or one big show at Artisan Tap, they're having 2 mediocre shows at 2 venues. And it's just like, we have that kind of communication, we can make sure that doesn't happen. And that benefits both venues. It benefits the band, the crowds are getting a better night from it, and it's just generally better. for me personally, I think Stoke-on-Trent and Newcastle as a combined thing, because a combined scene, we're really strong. I think we're a lot better than a lot of people give us credit for in terms of the music scene. We're heading into a good place. We're going in the right direction. Venues such as Artisan Tap, 5 nights a week is incredible. Riff Factory's just set up as a new venue in Fenton as well, and that's a slightly smaller capacity, and it's more designed for new local bands starting out.
Okay.
So they've got that nice starting point.
And I think what's good about that, and that this is where the city should be proud, is when the Riff Factory opened, all the other venues gathered around to support and help.
Yeah.
Promoted the venue.
Okay.
Which, as opposed to seeing it, we've had a competition open up. No one sees it that way. Everyone gathers round, and I think that's it's not totally unique, but it's a really good thing that happens. As opposed to seeing it as a threat.
So finally then, before you both go, Lee and Scott, you've touched on it, Lee, and I haven't actually gone into it yet. You keep mentioning these awards.
Yes.
What awards are you on about? Quick, come on.
Yes. The Music Awards of Staffordshire and Cheshire. The big reason for me being here is finally returning after nearly 10 years.
So this is the first one after 10 years?
Yeah. Well, it'd be 9. It'd be 10 since the first one. For various reasons. Obviously, COVID was a big part of why we weren't able to bring it back for so long. Again, UK SPF funding from Newcastle Council. I know I keep mentioning them, but I have to, because it would not be happening without them. PH Productions Services. I've been working so closely with those guys, with the Honey Box and everything. They've worked so hard to make sure they bring this back as well. So massive thanks to them. But it's just great to bring it back. We've got 10 awards, which essentially just celebrates the talent that I've been talking about across Staffordshire and Cheshire. It's all grassroots level, all different categories, different styles of music. It's so nice to see the amount of different music we've got going on. And in the day, we've also got between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. we've got 4 different panels going on as well, and they're free to attend. So it's there's not just the awards ceremony. Anyone can go and book a seat for the panels. What's happening on those panels? Are they little workshops or something? So myself and Scott will be on one of them, along with other venue managers, talking about the issues Scott mentioned about how bands can get gigs, how to communicate with venues and promoters, how to present themselves, things like that. There's also some sync publishing, which is a very important one in terms of general streams of revenue for musicians, which isn't talked about enough. Musicians don't know enough about it, so we're trying to access that kind of knowledge and give it to them freely. We've got another talk about funding and how musicians can get funding, which again is a vital one. And we've also got one about the benefits and challenges of a strategic music board, which I'm personally looking forward to, because it's kind of the next level up from what me and Scott already do in terms of communication and bringing in the right things for the scene in terms of progression. So they're really important things, and they're all free to attend as well. And when are these taking place? It's all on the 28th of January, Wednesday the 28th of January. It's at the New Vic Theatre, of course. New Vic Theatre in Basford, Newcastle Underline. That's right. Okay, so they are called then, if I've got this right, the Music Awards of Staffordshire and Cheshire. Yes. If people type in that, can they find the website? The website is really easy though. It's just musicawards.live. Okay. And hashtag Music Awards SC. And that, if you just search that, you'll bring up all the stuff we've been posting about anyway. And if anyone is listening and they do want to attend and get involved with one of the free workshops, they can go on there and they find the information. That's right. To get in touch with you guys. Yes.
Lee, Scott, thank you so much for coming in on Business Spotlight. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
For everything, for future gigs, future artists, and of course for the awards as well, Lee, as well, on the 28th of January.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming into the studio here on Business Spotlight. That's Lee Barber and Scott Evans here with me, Sonya Farrell.
Business Spotlight, shining a light on our local business community. Brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.